Hey guys, how you doing today? It's me, Kelly. So this is hashtag 29 faces, and I will put the link to the group down below. And this is a background I did yesterday, and I'm gonna paint a face on it. That's how I'm gonna do my 29 faces today. So let's get started. Everything's dry and ready to go. So I'm gonna shade. You know, I love the using this brown. This brown is my favorite. This is my third one. It's the Bambi brown. But I think I'm gonna try some blues today. I'm gonna play with, and I'm just gonna get getting. I'm gonna take my brush, and first I have these three color blues here: cobalt blue and turquoise waters. So let's set that over there. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to pour some of the darker color out right now. Shake it up. These are Americana's multi-surface satin. So these are in between matte and in between oh God, I can't, glossy. I couldn't think of the word. So you want to shake them up because they have a little bit of a medium in there. And I'm just going to do a little bit of that one. And then I'm going to take a little bit of this one, which is just called Blue. And it is, again, the multi-surface satin from Americana. Put a little bit there. And then I'm just going to pour this out. This is the turquoise waters. Give it a shake. And I'm just going to put a little bit here. I don't know if I'm going to use it. And we'll see. And then some of my white. This is called white birch. So it's white, but not, it's more like a warm white, which I like. And I'm going to put a pile of this right there because I'll pull from it as I want. And I'm going to go in, and I'm not going to really draw or measure really. I'm going to just kind of take the corner of my brush and just do like a shape. And I can't decide whether I want to do a full face. I might just do a full face, like a bigger face. So that's the main thing here. And I'm just going to kind of bring it in. And I want some of that bottom to come through, so I'm not worrying about it being too solid because I'm just going to be working. Now I can see that I made the face a little bit too wide. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wet my brush and I want to take this off here. So I'm just going to give that a wipe, this a wipe, and I want a little bit more of a chin. And this is what I suggest you do, whether you're in your art journal or doing like I'm doing. Just going to lay some. Now my back is dry. My background's dry. I did it yesterday, so it dried overnight. So I'm not going to worry about lifting any of that up. But I'm just going to take it a little bit off. Just so I have more of an oval shape that I want. Of course, I threw my paintbrush in. Now, I want to mix. I want to kind of go in. I think I'm going to go in with a darker, but I think I'm going to grab a smaller brush. Let's see what this brush does. I'm just going to go in a little bit of the dark. I'm just going to lay in where I want the eyes and the nose and the lips. Just so I have an idea. Then I'm going to take some of that white, mix it in. And how do I want to do this? Let's do this. Well, that's a nice shade of almost purple, isn't it? Of the blue with a little bit of the white. Not hating on it. I do not. This brush is more for like glossy and glass. You know, it's not as precise as I want it, but I'm just going to go with it. I'm just going to go with it. And a little bit of my nose and the lips. Just going to add bumps. Because I don't know what I'm going to do, but I want to have an idea. And then I think I'm just going to take whatever's left. I'm just going to kind of give me an idea there. But I think I'm going to let that brush go because it's a little flimsy and I want a little firmer. So that'll go there. What kind of brush? I really need to go get more brushes. I go through brushes like crazy. Like crazy. Maybe I'll just use this brush, this angled. Okay, so I want to bring a little bit more down there. So I'm going to take some of this white and some of the lighter color right now. And this is like a, I'm going to blend it up there a little bit. If you can see what kind of brush it is. It's like an angled brush. So I like it because I can use in mixed media or any kind, because it has a slant, you can have a little thinner there, or you could go, you know, you can kind of use it. You get more bang for your buck, as I like to say. So I'm just going to kind of throw some of that in there. The nose I'm going to wait till last to really do. Maybe I'll bring some of this. I want that to be darker on the outside. And the lips. All right, now I know I'm not digging. Do this a little bit more. This is down too far, so I'm going to bring that up. And then put my neck there, so that'll be like a shadow. Remember, there's no mistakes. Never, ever, ever. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to take the dark and I'm just going to lay an eye in, an eyeball. I know, it kind of looks creepy, right? And then lay some of this in for the shading. And eyebrows. And let's give her. Okay. Just giving some loving. Now I want to lay some shadow in, but I want to figure out my eye. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to lay my brush there for a second. Now you can use your Stabilo, you can use your water soluble pencils, whatever you have. I'm going to use a regular pencil if I can find, here it is. I knew it was here somewhere. But I'm going to kind of go in, and even though I probably am not going to be able to see that pencil line too much, but I'm going to lay in that eyelid so I can go in. So I'm not doing it with any Stabilo or any water soluble, anything. I'm using a regular pencil. Use a number 2, use whatever you have. Because I know a lot of you do not have Stabilos or water soluble pencils. You can use your Crayola watercolor pencils, whatever you have. But I'm just going to lay this in. Obviously, she's going to be a little bit of an odd girl, so because I've been doing those a lot lately, so that's kind of what I'm going for. I don't want to worry too much about things being on point. All right, and I think here I'm going to lay in my nose. So I'm going to give my nose there a little nostril. Give a little side. All right, that's good. That's good for now. So I want to go in and I want to color these a little darker. And while I have that blue eye in there, it's still wet. So, and then I'm just going to lay some of that light inside there. Think about if you're putting on eyeshadow. And you want a little bit of highlight in the middle, just so that that light hits it a little bit. Now, I love the colors coming up. I love what it's doing. I'm going to hit some light in there and then turn it over and hit some light in there just to leave it for a second. And then I want to start, I'm going to take my brush and wet it for a second. Take that off. I'm going to take some plain white and I'm going to go in and just whiten up. I mean, this is nothing new. I do these faces all the time. You guys probably are sick of seeing them, but it's what I'm in the mood to do today for my face. All right, and just kind of blend that. Now I want to do some shadows. I'm going to hit this light blue, and I think I'm going to just go in straight. Let's see. I want this to be a little bit more of the face there. A little bit dark here for to where the neck goes. Yes, it's a big neck. Told you I have shoulders and a neck like a football player. I don't know. Don't know. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but my neck sometimes looks like that, depending on what angle. I'm going to take a little of the lighter blue and just kind of lay it in. And I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to, you know, I just kind of go with it. I don't sit, I'm not doing, I like doing these odd girls because when I have trouble with my hands, and maybe a lot of you can relate to this, it's hard to be so precise. And I do always tell you guys, don't beat yourself up too much. Don't do that kind of stuff. Just do it. And that's kind of what this is. It's just do it. There's no, you don't have to be, you know, spot on with everything because it's just a little odd girl. I'm not going for realism here. I'm not going, you know, sometimes this is what I feel like. And, you know, so that's what I mean. You don't want to not do something because you're not fantastic at it. So today I'm not going to be that precise on this because I want to paint and I want her to look like an odd girl because I feel odd today, if that makes any sense. And you can see I'm just kind of washing, you know, scrubbing my brush off a little bit here. Not too much going on. Now, I'm going to hold this up to the camera for a second to show you something. Can you see right here? It's just a line that was underneath, but it's going to be a great face line for me. And to do on this side to give her a little bit of like character, a little bit more line. So I'm going to rock that in a bit. But right now, I'm going to take some of the lighter blue with a little bit of the white. And then I'm going to go into more of these lighter places. And just lay this down. You can hear me scrubbing my brush. I'm terrible. But that's the way I do it. Now, why I like these paints when I'm doing this kind of thing, and you know, you can use any paint. Use an extender. I have an extender that I'm going to show you and do, but on another video. But get cheap brushes, okay? If you're going to do this kind of work, this kind of painting, get cheap brushes. I'm talking dollar store or kids, whatever you have. Yes, you can buy expensive brushes, and I have some, and I love them. But when I'm doing this, I am just scraping the heck out of this brush and using this paint because it is satin and not matte. It stays wet a little bit longer. So as you can see, I'm going in and I'm blending a little bit more here with the darker colors that I put on there because it's a little bit wet yet, and I can, you know, wet yet, and I can go in and blend. So that's just something to keep in mind, but you can use an extender or you don't have to use anything. I sometimes, you guys have seen me, I use water because water, it'll thin the paint out, but you know, it'll give you more of what this is. You could do whatever you want. Now, for some reason, I can't cover that on her face. I don't know what the heck's going on there. All right, so I'm gonna, sorry about my dogs. All right, so I'm going to lay this in as my highlights for the most part, I'm going to do one here. And I do a little bit here because I know that I'm going to lay darker there, and then I'm going to lay it more here. And I'm just cleaning off my brush. It's called Don't Waste the Paint. That's how I do it. And you can see right here, I overdrew my line. So when I go to put hair or something, or maybe not even, I might just leave it like that. It really doesn't matter. Okay, so I'm going to do that, and I'm just going to pull. I want it to be see there, I must have used something that's just not covering. So I'm just going to go with it. I'm just going to take my brush, and you can use anything, a sponge brush or Q-tip if you don't want to use your brushes like I use them. But it's just how I like to do it. Okay, and you can see there's going to be highlights everywhere. I'm going to take a little bit more of my white, and I'm just going to kind of run it down here, right? And then here, think about where you get oily on your face. Just a little bit. I'm not going to worry too much about it. And then I'm going to do a little here, and then just a little bit right there. Just for now, just going to leave those there. And then I'm going to go back in, and I'm not going to wipe my brush because it's going to be darker regardless, but I'm going to put a little bit of the darker color on. And then I'm just going to go in one more time around here, very lightly, and add a little bit more of that color in, and then I'm going to be done with that. And the reason I chose blue is, first of all, I got inspired by seeing Dion Campbell, who I will put her link down below, her face, and I love the colors. She does some of these colors and all, and I kind of got inspired, and then I thought, well, I'm going to do it my way, but I'm going to do it with some blue today to show you that you can shade with whatever you want and wherever you want. You don't have to follow rules that are, Now I'm going to go in, and I'm going to do my nose and just kind of use my paintbrush to do that, and then drag this down a little bit more. So I went in a little bit darker. I'm going to go in for the eyebrows and just kind of go over that one more time and bring a little bit of this in under the eye. I'm not going to do too much on this side, and then kind of blend it in a bit. And yeah, I'm good with blending over here. You can use a foam brush. You can use whatever you want. It doesn't matter what it costs. It really doesn't. So I'm going to do that. Now I'm going to do these lines right here, but I'm going to grab another. I'm going to put this in the water. I'm going to grab I want a small paintbrush. Like a small little paintbrush. And I'm going to grab some of this dark blue, and I'm going to roll it just so it goes on each side. And I'm going to go in, and I'm going to carefully, this probably wasn't the best brush to drag, but I'm going to put that line in there. And now her nose looks dark there, and that's why it looks a little funky, but that's all right. We're gonna roll with it. And then I'm gonna kind of do the same thing over here, because you don't need it. You can if you want, but you don't need it to be so that you see it so much. It's just going to add a little bit of expression in there, and I'll tap it down. I'm going to go in while I have my brush and just kind of put in. Okay, so now I'm going to take my brush that I cleaned off. And I'm going to pat it down, because I don't want it, as dark. But I want the illusion there. And there's that little part that I got that won't, it just won't come off. So I'm going to take this off the edges here, because my brush is wet, and I'm happy about that, I'm going to go in and blend a little bit more. And I'm going to blend here. I'm just going to tap this And when I tap it, it's just going to lift up some of that and kind of, you're still going to see it, but it's not going to be as stark, dark. I don't know if that's the right word. It was stark dark. I'm going to do that with all the lines, just to kind of pat them in the background so you see them, but they're not in your face. And now I'm going to go in. I'm really not digging this little brush. It's really giving me not what I want. I'm going to go in with some dark of the blue. I'll put my eyes in. A little bit more here. A little bit more here. Leaving that light part that we left there. Okay. And you can always put more of the white in. It's not gonna. All right. A little bit here for that. And where's my brush? And take a little bit more white. I like the white because it makes the eye pop a little bit, but you don't have to put the white in. And it doesn't have to be spun on either. I'm just going to lay a little bit more of this in here. A little sparkle would be good in there too, if you want. And then I'm going to take my brush right here and I'm just going to tap it so it gets a little lighter. And blend it in. So it almost has a blue to it, but it's lighter. So that's just how she likes to rock it. All right, and that I think is what I'm going to do for those. Put some highlight here. And again, a little bit more here, and then just tap it. I'm like a big tapper. All right, so that's what I'm going to do with that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my bigger brush and all of the colors I have here, I'm going to wet them with some water. Because some dry, but they'll reactivate because they're not all the way dry. And I'm just going to spray some water on them. And I'm going to take my brush, and you're going to see I'm going to pull it all together. And I'm going with some hair. I hate wasting paint, so I'm going to use it to my advantage. And I'm not going to bring bangs all the way down. I'm just going to kind of go like this. But you can see it does bring, so if the face is out too much, it kind of brings all that together. Now she has a very dark face. This is not, like I said, where we're going to be, I don't know, I did this with black and gray, I think was the color, and now doing it with these. But I am going to go in and outline everything and put pupils in, and I'm going to add a little bit more white, which you'll see in a second, just to kind of lighten all this up. And then I want it too light. I like it. It's like, that's the mood I'm in today. I'm in the blue mood. If anybody knows what that means. I'm in the blues. So I'm going to wipe this off real quick. Okay. I'm going to take my white again. I'm going to shake it up. Just that little bit. And I'm going to go in and I want to, and what this is going to do is mix with that wet paint. So you're going to get different shades of blue with the white, which is fine. But it's just going to give it, I don't know, a little something, little highlights. Because I don't want it too white. All right, now I'm going to take my, I'm just going to use my black marker, but you can use your pen, use whatever you want. and put my hands in the hair because it's wet. Even though I like the look with nothing defined, I'm going to define it to a point. Now what's great with these markers is that they are, I can play with them if I want before they dry, but they dry permanent. So I like that. I don't think I'm going to put the lines underneath her eyes though. Like I'm not going to draw those out. I'm only going to do a little bit of playing. Because I want it a bit. See, if you put your hand, it lightens it some. If you take it up. So if it's not all the way dry underneath, we'll pull it up. But that's all right. I'm going to do the same thing with the lips, just the outsides. Even though I do like the blue. It's not hurting me, but I just want to give her a little bit of, I don't know, she kind of got a look to her. And I like mixing the really pretty background with things like this. I don't know. These end up either in a pile of stuff. Now see, I'm just going and tapping, and if I wanted to put my, wet my finger a little bit, I could do the same. It's not that big a deal. But that's, I just want those to come out in that. And then I'm going to stick my back of my pencil, my paintbrush, and I'm just going to give it some highlights in the eyes. And then if you want to go back and highlight a little bit more here or wherever, I like it. I can't help it. I'm just going to pat that in there. And that's my face for today. I just wanted to play. I didn't want to do anything too, too massive or anything like that. I just wanted to play on here because I wanted to do the blues because I got inspired. I'm going to put Dion's link to her YouTube down below. Please go check it out and give her love. And this is just my way of playing in my blues today. But I think I'm going to make her come out or do something underneath here. I don't know. I'll let you guys know or see it when I'm done, when I decide, when I sit and play. So, as always, be kind to each other. You never know what battle somebody else is fighting. And go check out the 29 Faces link and go check out Dion, please. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye, guys.